Do you feel it? Do you feel it in the air?
What's good, guys? Welcome back to the Cutting 101 series. In this edition, we'll be talking about weightlifting. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so I have my laptop here, and I'm opened up to the Notes app, as you guys can see right there. Let me focus a little bit. Sorry, it's a little dark. Yeah, but it's open up to the Notes app. These past couple of days, I've been doing a lot of research, gathered a bunch of different information. Before I get into what I think is best to do in the gym when you're dieting, I'm gonna give you a little background on how your muscles actually grow. A big misconception is that people think that your muscles grow when you actually lift weights in the gym. You know, when you're feeling the pump, when you're doing certain things, you think that your muscles are growing in that time period. But that's actually false. Your muscles grow post-gym, because what you're doing in the gym is you're tearing down your muscle fibers. When you rest and get adequate amounts of protein and you get good nutrition in, sleep and everything, your body's going to reform the muscles so that they're bigger. Your muscles grow when the rate of protein synthesis is greater than the rate of protein breakdown. So what that means is that your body needs to be repairing faster than you're breaking down your muscle fibers. If you never give your body enough rest time or the proper nutrition, and you just constantly go to the gym 7 days a week and you work out 3 hours a day, then you're not going to be growing to your full potential from all that stress you're putting it under. But definitely have rest days. So that's how your muscles grow. I want to change gears and move on to the next topic: anabolic versus catabolic states. Anabolic means your body is building more complex structures from simpler ones, and catabolic is the opposite. Your body is breaking down bigger complex structures into smaller ones. So when you're bulking or when you're in an anabolic state, you are in a growing state. And this makes total sense because you're getting more calories than your body needs. Your body has enough to rebuild your muscles. Your body's going to convert the excess macromolecules that it doesn't use and store it as fat. So that's why when you're bulking, your muscles grow a lot more, you get bigger. But the downside is you're also putting on fat. When you're dieting and you're at a deficit of calories, your body is in a catabolic state. So when your body's in a catabolic state, it's going to be constantly breaking down more complex, bigger molecules into smaller ones. It's because you're not giving it enough energy externally from the foods you're eating. So that being said, the process of tissue repair, tissue growth, muscles growing, all of that is going to be super hard when you're cutting. That's why people tend to have a hard time actually putting on size when they're cutting. There's this big misconception that people think that when you're cutting, you can also put on a bunch of size, you can get a six-pack and be big and everything, and that's just honestly not true, because your body is at a loss of calories. It constantly needs more energy, and it doesn't have enough nutrients to grow your muscles, to repair your muscles. When your body has completely used up all the glycogen storages and the glucose in your bloodstream, basically all the carbs in your body, then it's going to turn towards fats and protein for the next sources of energy. It's going to break down your adipose tissue, and it's going to look for energy in your muscle tissues. So that's why it's very important when you're dieting to have a high protein diet, because you always want to have protein circulating in your bloodstream, so that when your body is trying to break down your muscle tissues for energy, that it's not going to look for your muscle tissues to break down. It's going to use the proteins in your bloodstream as an energy source instead of your muscle tissues, so you can maintain your muscle that you currently have. But on the other side, you want to try to lose the stubborn belly fat by letting your body use that fat as a source of energy. So this brings me to my last topic of discussion, which is applying all these concepts and trying to figure out how to actually train when you're dieting. And I just want to address this really big misconception before I get into more details. People think that when you're cutting, that you need to do high rep ranges, low weight. For some reason, I don't know why people think that you need to do that just so you can somehow make your muscles look more cut or something, but that is completely false. The only way to look more cut is to be in a caloric deficit. It's to drop weight. It's to lose the fat that's covering your muscles. Not by doing high rep ranges. When you're cutting, you should actually do the opposite. You want to give your body a reason to keep the muscle that you have. And that's really, really important. As I said before, when you're dieting and you're at a caloric deficit, your body's in a catabolic state and it's going to eat away at your muscles. Your body's constantly looking for a source of energy. So when you're cutting, you're going to lose some muscle, but you want to minimize the amount of damage that's going to happen. And to do that, eat a lot of protein and lift heavy. It's going to signal your brain. It's going to tell your brain that you need the muscles that you have in order to continue lifting heavy. And so your body's going to not eat away at your muscle tissues as much as it would be doing if you weren't lifting heavy. And plus, since you're in a catabolic state, your body's not going to have enough nutrients to repair the damaged muscles from post workouts. So since you can't really put on size when you're dieting, that's why you should always lift heavy. Nutrition is less important for strength than for building size. Bodybuilding or hypertrophy training, meaning you're trying to make your muscles grow, has to do with higher rep, around 10 to like 20 reps for each set. Strength training is 2 to 8 reps. When you're strength training, you're not just only trying to build your muscle, you're also trying to improve your central nervous system. You're trying to get your CNS to fire more neurons at a given amount of time, so you can activate more muscles, and that in turn would lead you to lift a heavier amount of weight. Another reason why you should lift heavy when you're dieting is because of this concept of myofibrillar versus sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. Hypertrophy means growth. Now the difference is when you do myofibrillar hypertrophy, you're going to create a more dense muscle because you're actually increasing the size of your muscle fibers. For sarcoplasmic, basically creating this illusion that your muscles are actually bigger because of all the fluid buildup, in your muscle cells. So that's why bodybuilders look a lot bigger than powerlifters, but powerlifters, they can lift a lot more weight because they have more dense muscle. So that's why I say when you're dieting, you should do heavy workouts because it's going to lead to myofibrillar hypertrophy, and you're going to be increasing the denseness and the actual size of your muscle fibers. Once you strip down all that fat, you want to have that dense muscle. And just from my opinion, guys, it just doesn't make sense to me how if you're dieting, you want to just go into the gym and lift lightweight and just automatically drop all this progress you've been making in the gym. It's to my understanding that when you're dieting, you want to lift even heavier than you did when you were actually in a caloric surplus, when you're bulking, because you want to give your body all the reasons to keep all the strength that it had before. I'm not saying you're going to increase in strength when you're dieting. It's going to be very hard to increase in strength actually. You want to try to maintain as much strength and muscle as possible. But you also want to train smart. You don't want to just go to the gym and start hitting 5 sets of 10 with a really heavy weight on a certain movement, because that will completely kill you. You're still at a deficit of calories. You don't have enough energy to do that much work. I suggest that you increase your intensity, but you decrease your volume. And volume means basically how many reps and sets you do in a workout. Instead of doing what you would do when you're in a caloric surplus, where you do 4 or 5 sets of 8 to 10 reps, and you do like 6, 7 different exercises in a given workout. So I would say lower the volume, whether it is taking out sets or whether it is dropping reps within sets. There's a lot of variables you can play around with. You should look to decrease volume when you're cutting. So for example, if you're bulking and you're doing 5 sets of 10 reps for each set, that's 50 total reps, right, for a given movement. Then I would say if you're dieting, that instead of doing a total of 50 reps for that movement, you could maybe do a total of 25 reps. So do 5 sets of 5 instead of 5 sets of 10. And within those 5 sets of 5, you actually lift heavy and you maintain your strength. If you're doing like 8 exercises when you're bulking in a given workout, I would say maybe drop it down to like 4 or 5 good exercises. So if you guys are dieting, I highly recommend you guys to continue to lift heavy and to lower the volume of your workouts. I hope this video was very informative to all of you who are dieting right now and are wondering how you should train. Please stay tuned for upcoming content. It would mean a lot to me if you guys would give this video a thumbs up and if you guys would hit the subscribe button. I want to thank you guys for watching again, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Do you feel the vibes?